do that. Guest. All right, guys, I don't know what I'm doing today. I'm just must be bored out of my mind. So I emailed myself a link to give guests access to this video live. So I'm going to see if I can, what I'm going to try and do is send it to myself. I'm waiting for it. And then I'm going to copy it and put it in the comments. And then, let's see here. I think I'm going live, aren't I? Channel. Okay, here we go. So here's my link. Okay. So I just sent the guest link. I put it in the comments or, in the chat, and I just clicked it, and it says that you have to have a mobile device. So that's why I can't do it on my desktop. So anyway, today I did a guest interview with Nico from Griff Lawn Care, and I thought it went great. On my live column of all my videos that were live, I had a whole bunch that were like scheduled, probably because I was trying to get it started this morning with a guest, and since it didn't really work very well, it just showed that I had like 4 upcoming lives, and I went to delete them, and I accidentally deleted the video that I did with Nico, and I'm freaking pissed off at myself. Because that's the thing on YouTube. Once you delete those videos, they're gone. So I'm really bummed. So anyway, I was talking to him just now, and I asked if he would want to do another one sometime, and he's up for it. So I'm really mad at myself because that was a good video. What do you guys think? Those that watched it this morning, do you think it was a good video? Like, is that what would you like to see more of that with guests? After talking with Nico for what I guess was almost like 2 hours, I think we're pretty similar with mindset, with like how to run our businesses. Just from what I gathered with him, I feel like we're pretty similar in some of the thoughts or way going about business, some of the service offerings and things like that. I feel like we're pretty similar. I thought that was kind of cool. and that could be good. Um, with trying to do something consistently like that. I don't know. I do have friends that I bounce ideas off of, and sometimes we're a little too different, and sometimes when it's so different, you kind of um, you kind of run out of ways of defending your views and stuff like that, or you try to keep it um, respectful, but it's not really the way you would do things. So you kind of leave it at, kind of things get left, um, unfinished or something like that. But anyway, it's kind of annoying too that on my video, I didn't know that my battery was dying because as it's recording, I don't see the battery life of my phone. So I couldn't tell that it was dying. And then all of a sudden, my phone turned off, and that was it. Even now, I can't see it. It doesn't show anything about the battery, so that's kind of annoying. So anyway, if there's somebody on right now, tell me what's up. Put in the chat. Say, hey, what's up? Also, if you see the link and you're on a mobile device, click the link that's in the chat, and it'll ask you if you want to be a guest. Say yes. That way we can kind of do you know, a back and forth or something. I usually it's Sunday, so I'm usually just on my laptop anyway until 2 o'clock. I've been doing that whether I've been working um, or working on something on my laptop or just passing time until 2 forever. So this is a good time slot for me to do these things. This is my first time doing it outside. I live in a really quiet neighborhood. So I thought, if I was out here talking, maybe some of my really close neighbors would be like, what's going on? I haven't felt that. I do feel like it's a little quiet, and I feel it's so quiet that, everybody on the whole block could probably hear me, but I don't think that's true. So I'm just going to go with it. And I feel pretty good about it too, by the way. It feels nice out here. This is my back patio. I guess I could do a quick little tour. So we had to move things. Normally I have my grill and my Blackstone both where that table is, but we had a baby shower yesterday. So things are not where they normally are today, but I am in my backyard, and I'm just here wanting to talk business like always. So I'm up for somebody joining the guest button if you dare choose to. And that way we can kind of chat about stuff. Again, I'm really upset. I did a live with Nico this morning and I accidentally deleted it. I thought that was a really good video too. I thought I made sure not to click the one, but I must have done it. And I'm so mad at myself because I lost it. And I tried to refresh the screen once I realized what was happening, and there was nothing I could do about it. It was done. The deed was done. So what's up, guys? Tell me what's going on. If you're somebody that wants to join me live right now as a guest, please do so. I did one this morning, and now I don't know. I just feel like I want to try it again. Um, don't have any topic in mind. Maybe I'll talk about your business. Maybe I'll ask you what struggles you're having. Maybe kind of like a little hot seat. I can give you some advice, maybe. Maybe you can give me advice. I don't know. I'm up for any of that right now. Um, I do have about an hour where I can just kind of chillax and, you know, stay on here for a minute. I don't really have anything else to do. I already had breakfast. Well, it's already almost 1 o'clock now, so not really hungry either. So I'm totally available for about an hour. We'll see how it goes. Um, it's one of the so I do have a few calls that came in either yesterday on Saturday or this morning on Sunday, and my calls get routed to a call center on the weekend. And I do have a couple of things that I probably could put on the dispatch board right now, but I'd rather leave that to the people that I pay to do that. Um, it's kind of something I've been doing this year a lot. By the way, how's the sound? Is it okay? I'm trying not to talk very loud, and I don't have my headphones in because those died too. I was just a mess today. You know what I mean? I had not prepared, even though I thought I was. I definitely didn't prepare like I should. So here I am, just passing my Sunday. Um, but yeah, so I hate when I do that. I'm talking about something and then I talk about something else and then I kind of forget what I was talking about. But I believe it had something to do with normally I deal with everything that comes in on the weekends, but I've handed that off to multiple people now that work for me. And I've been doing that all year. And I got to tell you, um, remember I made that video last year where I was like, hey, I've given my job away, something like that. Well, I did. And then I did it again. And then I did it again. Because, be honest, as the lawn care business owner, you have a lot of hats. You wear hats, all kinds of hats. You know what I mean? Operational wise, customer relation wise, social media wise, the ideas person, the vision, execution, the follow through. I mean, it goes on and on, right? So this last year, when I started handing away my positions, um, I was fine at first, and then I started handing off like some of my office stuff and payroll and everything. And I felt so out of control. I felt like everything, like it was almost like I've never sold my business and I don't plan to either. But to describe how I felt was almost like selling my business. And, when you're on the outside, you ever been on the outside of something, it kind of like when I was playing, I played football in high school and I hurt my leg on a motorcycle accident. All of a sudden I went from, I was defensive player of the year. I was really good in the defense and I was a big part of it. Like the coaches, like we knew the coaches knew how to take care of me. I was like one of the people that they took care of, they had fun with. I had a say sometimes with certain things, you know what I mean? And then I got hurt and I was on the outside. And then I went from knowing everything to like no longer part of the team. And I felt like, man, I'm on the outside. This is what it's like when you didn't make the team. Um, and that's kind of how I felt at the beginning of the season. I'll just put these headphones in. I don't know if I think I'm playing them Hopefully they're on this headphone. They are. Sorry. So when I handed off all my job duties, I started feeling like I am on I'm on the outside. I obviously know that I could go in at any moment and tell whoever's doing what, like, step aside, I want to do it. But you kind of have to go through those steps of letting people um, you know, do the job, even if they're not doing it right, you know, even when they're doing it wrong. And you can kind of give them guidance, or in my case, I just kind of like let it happen, knowing what that's going to domino effect to. And so when the domino effect can happen, I would be able to say to them, "Hey, you know why this happened, right? You didn't do this, or you did it this way." And that's kind of my way of teaching, because I don't necessarily like letting them know right away, like, "Hey, don't do that." I mean, obviously, if I'm there and I see it and I'm able to stop it right away in a good way, like in a way that they know, "Hey, I see it when it's about to happen. Shouldn't you?" Um, so I'll do that kind of thing. But if I'm like set aside with my own like job duties, I typically let them do their job, unless it's something they don't know anything about and I'm kind of training them. I'm willing to do that, but I felt so out of it this year at the beginning of the season. I'm starting to feel more comfortable now, to where I feel like I'm able to possibly take the next steps. And I don't want to get out of my business. I don't. I totally. It brings me joy to be part of my business. I feel like, you know, having great people doing certain jobs and me being there with them, helping them, keeping them company on certain things, is helping the company as well. So that's why I don't mind doing those things. That's why I want to do those things. But there's part of me that says, if in order for us to really grow to 10 million, I need to let them do it. They need to have their own ideas of how to do things. Um, unless you have systems that are just so good and such good place that just don't mess it up. Like, there's no need to change it because it just works. Um, that's kind of how I teach people. It's like, look, if it's already working perfectly, why mess it up? Now, by the way, nobody's has told me what's up on this live in a chat. Will you please do that? First of all, I want to make sure this works, because I have a link in the chat right now that if you click it, it'll ask you if you want to be a guest. But you have to be on a mobile device, and I would love for somebody to do that, just so I can kind of keep practicing talking with somebody on these lives, or possibly help somebody if they have issues. We can do a hot seat, or somebody can help me, which I'm never against any advice to help me, because I'm always trying to improve, my business wise, that is. And so that's kind of why I'm on this live today. I just kind of wanted to. I did a live earlier today with Nico, and it was great. I accidentally deleted it, so I'm really mad at myself. So at this point, I'm just kind of just doing some more testing. I tried doing it on my laptop only today, but in order for to do the add a guest, you have to be on a device, and so that's why it didn't work. So anyway, I'm just here on a Sunday, just relaxing. This is live today. should have just kept one going, but I don't know how to do the guests, so I'm learning how to do that, and that is what's happening. Who's on here? Anybody I know, help me out and tell me what's up. There's a chance that I somehow put chats aren't allowed, but I imagine that I wouldn't be able to see it anymore. So I don't see why, um, that would be the case. I don't think it is, but I see people come on and then they leave. So I don't know if I know anybody. Um, I would really appreciate if, you know, somebody said what's up. It would really help me out. But so today I don't really have a topic, you know, um, which is good financially wise. Um, Also, we are Eric. What's up? Thank you. Uh, don't know if we've ever talked, but Eric, if you click that link that's above your comment and you're on a device, it'll ask if you want to be a guest, and then it'll do a split screen, and then we can be live. And I can either ask you questions, you could ask me questions. I could help you out, um, or if you're not up to it, that's fine too. But I kind of want to start doing that because I had a really great conversation with Nico today, which we have had a conversation outside of this where we might want to do this um, regularly. Oh man, I missed you, Eric. I was about to press it. Um, I think it was Eric. I was going to press it and then you went away. So I'll wait for the next time it happens again. Um, Shout out from Cedar City. Right on. I know Brett Banks from Cedar City. Eden, we're growing very conservative. Hiring second employee this year or next year. Nice. Um, that's good. One thing I noticed is like I would go fast with hiring field workers, the guys that are out making money. I guess we call those man hour employees. Um, and slower to hire office staff. The only thing is you do need somebody to answer phones if you're out in the field. So if you're the one out in the field, you should have somebody that's dealing with customers so that gives you time to focus on jobs and get those knocked out and then get back to the shop and then you can relieve that person or help that person or work on, you know, software stuff like the back end of automations, um, rate matrix, prices, documents, things like that. Um, yeah. So, but right now there was, some of the financial problems that we were having was um, we have too many in office admin workers that aren't bringing in any money, but their wages pretty pretty good, pretty decent, high wages. So me and six others. And so in the last 3 weeks, we were trying to fix that, you know, and I think we've done a great job. So basically we have a mechanic and a shop worker, and they're both, one of them's part time, the other one's full time. The mechanic is full time and working, um, you know, 40 hours, sometimes more. Um, it's revenue that needs to be paid, and it should be factored into your regular hourly stuff. But you've got, I've got two other estimators, a designer who, and a general manager, right? And a foreman, well, two foremans. And sometimes all of these people, they don't bring in any money. So what we decided was we're going to try and figure out a way to, they all bring in money. We're going to try and figure out a way. So one of them, the mechanic, we started doing like handyman work for our existing customers. We don't offer that on Facebook or anything, just to our existing customers, letting them know, hey, if you have any weird side jobs around the house that you've been wanting to get done, but it's kind of too small to call a bigger company, you can call us. And so Jose's been doing that. So that's why I like the mobile lives, because I can still scroll, still look at the screen, still bounce around, surf, I guess, the different tabs I have open and look for things. So this was the first week that we had Jose, who's my mechanic, go out, bring in revenue on his own. Stink Pink Gator. Yo, what's up? I thought you were saying you. I'm like, me what, man? So let's see here. Jose has brought in on this first week, not much, but there's a lot of estimates he hasn't done. Estimates started coming in this week. He brought in $300, that's $300 more than he brought in last week. And it's only going to get better. So those are two jobs that from customers that he went out and did an estimate for, but there's a lot more customers that he has jobs to do. He just hasn't either done them, finished them, So the thing is with the mechanic, check this out. He comes in the morning, 7 o'clock, make sure that all the trucks have been working, because the 6 a.m. guy, he's a shop worker. He gets all the trucks ready and unloaded. So that buys my mechanic some time to come in later, right? He doesn't need to be. Yeah, just let me know if you have a certain daytime time spot you want. Yeah. I don't know if you're listening to me, Nico, but I just got your DM, and yeah, we'll keep in touch. I think it's something that we should really look at doing. A certain time and day of every week. I don't know if it's Sunday, maybe, but we should really think about it. I think that it was a great video today, and we should keep doing that. So he's bringing in revenue. All right, let's see. Somebody is coming on. Let's see. Eden. This could be really good.
Can you hear me all right?
Barely. I heard all right.
Can you
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
All right. I think we're live now. I can hear you now.
Good. All right.
So,
all right.
So Eden,
My name is actually Doug. Oh, You're skipping out. Yeah, my name is Doug, and I live north of you just a little bit.
let me see how
I'm up by Boise.
Dusty. Okay, cool. And I just talked to Nico. He's around there too.
Oh, Nico
Do you know
is? Him? I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I might have to catch up with him.
Yeah. So
I'm about an hour out of Boise.
So how long have you been doing this?
This is our 5th season. The first 3 seasons we were part-time, and at the end of the 3rd part-time season, we were mowing 80 lawns. And that was enough for me to say the heck with the 40. And the 4th season, which was last year, we went full-time. And then this year, being our 5th season, we are full-time plus. I need another
That's
employee.
awesome.
I need another employee now, but I think we're just going to suffer through it and get through the
Yeah, it's
season.
close
And
to
then,
the end.
yeah.
It's hard to, bring somebody on, and then if they're good, letting them go, and that whole
Yeah.
thing. It's better to just never know they existed until the next year.
Right. And you were talking about office workers and stuff like that. Laura, my wife, she actually handles the phones and the books and the
Okay,
payroll and
that's
all
awesome.
that. So technically she's an employee too, of
Yeah.
our we're an S Corp LLC, finance
So
and S Corp. So
that could be interesting. Now, my wife is my biggest cheerleader and all that, but
yeah.
we couldn't work together. Like I don't think it would work. But does it work good for you?
It's awesome because she was actually in the field with me since year one.
Okay. Yeah.
And she mowed a little bit, but mostly she runs trimmers and blowers.
Okay.
And she is very, very picky. It has to be perfect when she leaves.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's
yeah,
awesome.
so right now we picked up 15 new lawns in the last couple of weeks, and we're just flat overbooked. And so Laura decided that she's going to jump back in the truck with us, in addition to doing all the office work. And so she's been going out 3 days a week, helping us do that. And then it's great. It's crazy. The growth has just been it's been nuts. We really don't even advertise. It's all word of mouth, and it's been good. It's been really, really good.
So, what's your strategy for, like, let's say, for I don't know, what's your strategy? You want to stay small, or
No,
you want to grow?
yeah, no.
And
I want to.
so,
I want to grow. Oh,
what's that
crud!
look like? So, you
I
got to
got to
go.
move. The air conditioner kicked on. Sorry, it made
Okay.
noise.
Yeah. It wasn't
Uh,
too loud on my end, just so you
no,
know.
that's all right. I'll go to the backyard. Strategy is this. We are presently two-man crew, myself and one other. And out of that two-man crew, we're mowing 150 yards a week.
Okay.
So we're route dance, and it's good. It's all good. Laura, like I said, we picked up 15 new lawns a couple weeks ago, and so Laura had just decided she wanted to get out and work a little bit. So she's helping us a little bit, but eventually, I want to get to that. I want to get to that 500,000 mark and get out of this
Hmm.
no man land.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so next year, we're going to make another big push. We're actually going to do some advertising, which we didn't do this year at all, just because we weren't pushing this year. It's kind of a pullback year, assess where we were at, and then we're going to go again. And I'm hoping, I'm hoping next year I'm actually only going to mow a few days a week just to help the main crew out, because I'm not a young
So,
man.
have you ever had a crew going out without you?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that took me a while to figure out. I did it when we had to split the crew,
Hmm.
because we just couldn't get to everybody. I don't remember what number that was, but I let the guy that I felt was best in charge, could be in charge, to do it, and he just impressed me, and
Right.
it's kind of been that way ever since. It's just kind of like, make sure they know how to do the job, they know how to, like, get to a customer's house, and they at least can acknowledge somebody if they say hi to them, and then I let them go, and I've always been impressed. Like, I've never had to worry about that. But as
Well,
far as numbers go, like, is that something you worry about at this stage, or no?
no, luck.
Yeah.
I'm lucky because my actual other crew member is my son. And so,
Okay.
he doesn't treat the equipment like it's a job. He knows it's our equipment, and
Yeah.
he also knows down the road eventually it's going to be his business. So
Yeah.
he's paying attention, and there's a fine line between quality control and production and profitability, and so we try to balance that. We try to we go to the higher end of quality, but we also got to have profitability as well. So
Hmm.
we do that fine balance. Um, as far as the numbers, I used to count lawns. How many lawns you mowing? How many lawns you mowing? And everybody does that. YouTube is like, oh, I mow this many lawns. I mow that many lawns. We don't even do that anymore. I count money.
Hmm.
How much money
Yeah.
is come through the door per day? And if it's not enough, then we're going to put more lawns on that day. And
because as far as strategy, I remember when I was more worried about just
right.
handle anything that comes in. That was kind of like my goal at first. And then it got to the point where it was like so many lawns, right? And it's like our guys could only do, I mean, sometimes they would do 30 lawns a day. And it was just like, that's too many for 2-man crew because they were working all day. And if somebody called off, we were really in trouble.
And
You know what I mean?
that's exactly where I'm at right now, Freddie. Right now, we're mowing 30 a day.
Yeah. So at that point, but at that point, I had 5 crews mowing 30 a day, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And it was just like, okay, so that's when I realized, okay, I think I fulfilled my inner happiness of what we can accomplish. I know we can do a lot. This is a lot of work. Because I couldn't get my 6th crew. This was like 2 years ago. I couldn't get my 6th crew. And we'd always get, if we got down to 4 crews, I could always get the 5th crew, but I could never get the 6th crew. And it was like, all right, well, I think we've reached as far as our operational capacity can do. So at this point, that's when we changed gears to numbers. Like, okay, now how can we make as much money as possible without killing everything, right? So that's when we kind of said, all right, well, if we've got to charge, $75 per man hour, that means everybody's prices are probably going to go up like 15% or something like that, because it was pretty high.
Yeah.
There were some lawns that needed to be $150, but they were charging 75. You know what I mean?
Right.
So some of those customers got it big, and some of them it's just about 15%. But what ended up happening was we went down. We did lose a lot of customers at that point, but now we only needed 5 guys, not 10.
Yeah,
and
we are.
They were mowing.
We
Yeah, they
are
were mowing
actually
like
looking
between
at
10.
a price increase next year. We are increasing our prices. And here's the hard part, though. We're already the highest priced in my area. We're already the highest priced mowing company in my area.
Yeah.
But our name recognition and our
Quality,
word of mouth
reputation
is so good that and
Yeah.
so we're gonna have to increase prices. I'm gonna have to. Plus, you got to remember, a lot of my pricing is still from 5 years ago when gas was, 30% of what it costs now. And
Yep.
so my expenses have gone up, and it's just so I have to slow. I have to slow the quantity of lawns down to increase the income coming in.
Yeah. So we ended up doing. I forgot the name of the company that does it. Profits R Us or Profits Unlimited or something, and they had a spreadsheet that you fill out per crew, how much they pay, how much is on your equipment, the whole works. And then, so we found out we needed to be at like, I want to say $75 per man hour. And that's what we raised it to. So it's like, we just kept it to where we needed to be to make the 20% profit plus pay everything the way it's supposed to be. And that worked out great when we didn't have hardly, we had probably 3 less non-billable people in the office at the time. So I think all that worked out. I think when we added those extra people that weren't bringing any money, but they're high paid, that's when we need to revisit that sheet, which is something we haven't done. So Rachel decided
let me back
she's going
up
to start
just a
doing
little
that
bit,
6
Freddie.
months.
So I've been a subscriber of yours since you were a spray guy. That's how long. Yeah, it's been forever. And actually, you were talking about your spreadsheet. You made videos on that years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I recall all that because, and for anybody that's watching, listen to him. He knows his business side of
Thank
things. Yeah, and that's where I've learned a lot of business side just from watching your videos. Not so much the operational side because you don't go over that. That's not what your channel is about. I
Right.
mean, as in like, how to mow a lawn. That's not what you do. You do the business side of things. And I've watched your growth and I'm just like, I'll get there. I'll get there. So yeah, no, I watch your videos and I remember all of them. You were talking about that spreadsheet. That was probably what, 4 years ago. I don't know. It was a long time ago, man. Yeah. So anyways, I appreciate what you've put out there because it helps us. Oh, you froze up.
Sorry.
There you go.
Yeah, can you repeat that one more time?
I know. I just wanted to say I appreciate what you've done in the business side of things because it helps the young up and comers like us, who are following in your footsteps. If you just watch and listen and carefully and apply your knowledge to my business, it may not apply directly, but you can learn a lot by what you've done and what you've gone through and by
Yeah.
what you've posted on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because not only do you post the successes, you post the failures as well, and you can learn from all that. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Is there anything that we could that I could maybe you're dealing with that maybe I could give you some insight on, or something something about me? Like, I don't want to make this all about, I know how to fix any, like
No.
you just alluded to. I like to show my
I'd like to hear an honest number.
if I see somebody that's doing something that I don't agree with, I kind of still let them know the things are similar, but everybody runs their own business differently.
Sure.
But sometimes there's an easier way of doing
Sure.
things.
So I guess probably my one pressing question, and I've talked to several owners of businesses who are in that, $500,000 to $1.5 million range, and basically, I asked them this: what percentage of the monies after paying your crews, your mow crews, do you have left? So a lot of guys were saying, after I pay my wages and I pay my equipment and I pay everything else, I got about 20% or 30% or 10% left. And so I was wondering if you had any input on that.
So I only caught the last part of that. You were breaking up. As far as like after you pay your employees, how much percentage is left over?
Yes, from your mow crews, not including all your overhead, all your non-productive
just the
members.
mow crews.
Yeah.
So after, and if there's more to the question, let me know, because again, I missed the first half of your question. But after payroll is made and all the taxes and fees, and even the payroll company's fees are taken out of every paycheck, the mow guys, I pay out of pocket 33%. Everything else is left over.
Okay, what about fuel and equipment expenses?
Yeah. So I guess that's kind of a hard question for me to answer because
you're so broad, because you've got your sprinkler guys and you got your overhead guys and you've got your office guys, and so it's hard for you to pencil that down.
And if I had Rachel with me right here, maybe she could help answer that question for me.
Right.
But we're at $75 per man hour, right? So if a guy is working 40 hours a week, you got to times that by 75. Oh, my phone recording this. And I don't even know if I can do it with my calculator here, but 40 times 75. What is 33? So 3,000 minus, actually that's times 30%. See.
So your expenses were 33%, or your profit was 33%?
My bookkeeper would call it profit. My bookkeeper would call it profit is 78, whatever.
Gotcha. 66.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 67% is what he would call it profit.
And then you got fuel and equipment and all that come out of that.
Yeah. Numbers minus 20%. So $75 minus 20%. What's typically supposed to be profit is $15 out of every 75.
Right.
So that's kind of how it's supposed to work.
So the 20% is
But
probably a
things
good
are,
number to go off of, Freddie, after all expenses.
yeah,
Okay.
yes. So in that spreadsheet that I have, that I did, Profits Unlimited, that's the percentage I put. So basically, before you figure out how much profit you want to make, you put in all the stuff, including gas, which I always think is really hard to come up with, like how much each crew is supposed to spend on gas every year. You know what I mean? And that kind of stuff. But you do the best you can with figuring that out. The equipment too, how long to pay it all back if you did, that the way that whole thing works, however the spreadsheet is. And then it tells you, okay, this is how much it costs to run that. So how much profit do you want? And then you put in the profit at the end, and then it tells you how much per hour anymore. Like, how do we get the operational side is, I guess, my strength. Watching that jobs, they kind of have an idea of what those crews can handle. Always grown my business. And I think it would be hard if I was the one doing the dispatching, the estimating, also, because you'll be more aware of what you can handle right from the going. Well, we normally can only do 5 garden cleanup. I think our strength
Well,
is.
and I think that's why next year I'm going to try to do part-time mowing, fill in, take up the slack, just simply because the bids and running around and all that is it's just to the point where I've got what, Sunday afternoon off. That's it. It's just like I'm booked,
Yeah,
man. I'm
yeah.
booked.
Schedule, like my mow guys right now, we're running 7 mow guys right now, and we're trying to get them all to where they're like 12 budget hours or less. Like we got 2 newish guys, and we'd like to keep them under 10 hours. The rest, we'd like to keep them at about 12 hours. So if you look at that, that's like on the high end 15, on the low end it's like 12. And my guys aren't really used to doing that. And in fact, some of them we think are going to be really upset when we get it down to that. But the quality is going to be so much better. I hear them saying that, hey, quality is important to us too, but it's kind of hard when we've got 20 houses. Like, we're not complaining either. We're just like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, and I had to go out for a day or 2. I was going to go out every day, and I lost 6 pounds those 2 days I went out. So I was actually really happy.
We're so
house 9, and it was getting late. But on my defense is like, my family does expect me to be home around 6. You know what I mean? Eat dinner with them. Where I have guys that they don't think, like, they don't have to be home, and they just go until it starts to get dark. So I don't know, but I think it's not really sustainable to have that many houses. Like, it wasn't for a 2-man crew to do 30 houses every day. I mean, it's just, yeah, it sounds great for a week or 2, but then if you think that's going to be your new business model, it's probably not going to work long term, because that's just too many houses.
We're doing 2-man crew, 30 a day, and it's about a 10-hour shift every day. And then I got to turn around on Saturday, and I do all my own maintenance. I don't have a mechanic. I am the mechanic. So I'm sharpening blades and changing oil and greasing machines and stuff, and fixing weed eaters, whatever needs to be done. But this year, like I said, was a good. We tried to pull back just a little bit to let things settle down, but it grew. We grew so much this year that it's the point I need help somewhere. Somehow I need more help. So we're just going to suffer through this year, get through leaf season and get into winter. And then next year, probably hire another employee, let him be a full-time employee in the truck with my son. They'll be the 2-man crew. And then I'll go out and mow, 5 or 6 a day, just local.
Yeah. I think what's like, finding somebody that's really good and efficient with, one part of what you do, whatever business, whether it's like the garden landscaping, like my guy, Fernando, I don't know if you've seen him or heard of him, but Fernando, like he came on as the garden cleaner, like the cleanup crew guy. And he just took complete ownership of that. And I knew that I could just count on any gardening jobs and just threw it on him. And we got to the point now where like he's able to take those jobs and disperse it through his crews. But I mean, if you think about it, he single-handedly like helped grow this business. It wasn't like just me doing it. We had to give him the work, but he ended up like really owning that part of it. And I kind of did that with the sprinkler guy too. I found somebody that was really loyal and good with sprinklers, and kind of felt like, you know what, if we have any problems with customers, can you deal with it? And I think that those are the things that really helped catapult me, because I still know people that are doing all those estimates. It's too much, like,
Well,
somebody needs to do that and focus on that more than you.
Freddie, you are a much bigger business than I am. That's for sure. We know that. And you've got more experience because you've been in it longer than I have. But I will say, when you were talking about you're having financial issues earlier, about a month ago or whatever, a couple live streams ago, I was like, oh, crud, wait a second, what's going on? And so we got rained out that week, and I was mowing on Saturday when you did your live, and I didn't catch it, but I saw it on YouTube. So I watched it after while I was mowing and listening. And in the last couple of years here locally, 2 million-dollar plus businesses, mow businesses, have went out of business, and it was good growth for us, but they were basically mismanaged. They had too many irons in the fire. They were trying to do sprinklers. They were trying to mow. They were trying to do, whatever they could get their hands on. Yeah, spray, snow removal, parking lot painting, and it was just, well, then you come down to where with the situation with employees and hiring over the last few years, and how hard it has been to get employees. They needed 50 employees and they had 8, and so their quality just sucked, and it did them in, both of them, $1 million plus businesses, and they both closed. And that's semi-local, within 30 miles of us. Yeah.
I felt like the workers were the happiest I've ever seen, and everything was just working perfectly. I don't think it was a single-handedly, like I keep talking about my 7, including me, top line managers that are making a lot of money, and we weren't really, so that little, like you said, the margins are kind of small, so that little bit of profit. I guess the more I think about it, like there's really like 5 big mistakes. One was I paid full payroll through the winter, which I should, unfortunately, that was the dream, and I got to live it for 1 year, where it was like I paid everybody all year, like the dream that we always have, that we're going to have this great successful business and do that. The problem is our cutoff time, which was March 1st, and then we start making money in the lawns, just never happened.
Yeah, same here.
That was one of those missteps that kind of made me fall real fast.
Yeah.
The other part was that how long it did take, right? So that's like from March till basically May.
Yeah.
We started like actually gearing up like middle of April. So those 2 weeks from April to May was really us just kind of getting our footing back. The snow was still melting a little bit. So it wasn't like we were on the ground running like we were in March of the year before. So that was misstep number 2. And then misstep number 3 was that at some point, we realized this really late, not that early, but our expenses were 6% more than we were making. So there's no way that I could put profit away, by then. And then the last step was the 7 high-paid employees that we still, had on the payroll,
Right.
which probably looking back, we shouldn't have done that. But okay, we need to be at $85 an hour per man hour. But I think there's a mindset there that's missing with my garden manager.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You went over that in your last.
Yeah. So, yeah, but that was something that I didn't really know about. I just figured it should be in my man hour rate. But if you do have more people coming into the business before you change your what everybody's paying, it's not going to cover it. So those e-fees will cover it. And then, so that's kind of what we're doing now. And then the mechanic, we're having him bring in revenue too, for the first time ever. He has nothing to do but sits there and waits. So why not make some money? Right. Like I said, this week we did 300, but that could be just from one day, because he did some estimates. He had to get his footing, figure out how he's going to approach things. So that we're hoping that that's going to turn into $600 a day for now. Batch fees with the sprinklers is going to start bringing in money, because now we're not going to be offering we'll credit your account, because we do have a foreman that floats around helping the other guys, but he's a very high paid sprinkler guy who doesn't bring in any money. So we need to figure out a way to bring money in for him as well, especially during those slow times. I think, and then me and Rachel need to do.
Yeah, you've talked about that for years, though. Yeah, you've talked about consulting for, I don't know, 3-4 years ago. You brought that up. I get it.
And maybe it's one of those things, nobody really needs my advice, so maybe that's why I'm not doing anything with it. But I feel like I need to have something in place, which I still don't, but I kind of do. I've had people come to my shop and pay for that.
Yeah.
And we talk about things for about. But we need something accessible in that, and that's where we're just struggling a little bit. But it's something that I just feel we're at that stage where we need all these people. So like we have the overhead of I would say $4 million business. But when the season starts late or doesn't, just starts at the beginning of the year, we're at zero.
We, just being north of you, we're in the same exact boat. Yeah, just that weather, this last spring weather that we had. Oh my gosh, it was so slow. April, we usually get a full billing out in April. We didn't even get that this year. It hurt, man. I tell you what, especially when the bank accounts are low, getting through the winter, and it's just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I think our key is now just in order to be like pretty strong, even in the spring, it's like we have to have a good snow business out of it, like pretty good. So I think that's key number one. And if you were to look at how we're fixing this year's problems, is starting with snow for next year. So we've already been selling snow accounts this early in the season, and we're hoping that comes the actual snow time, we're not going to pay everybody like we wanted to. It's just not something we can do in this industry unless they're covered for the snow and people have already paid for it. And then I think that's going to be the thing that's going to help us, because and then we've got a plan if it starts snowing after the normal snow season. We've already got those prices laid out for the customers. So If it does snow after that, we're still getting paid, and we don't feel obligated to keep doing it.
Gotcha. We don't do snow. We have snow. We just chose not to do snow because on average we only get 6 or 7 snow events a year, and so the investment into the equipment to do snow is pretty substantial when you start talking, trucks and plows, and it would take several years just to pay for it, to pay for the equipment. So we opted not to do snow.
Yeah, so that's the hard part about our business is you'll have, like, let's say you find a Fernando out there who's willing to, do all the work you can handle, and you don't want him to go away for the winter because you want to keep him around in the spring. So that's kind of where.
Yeah.
Consistently, even when it doesn't snow, there might be a week where it snowed 4 times, you know what I mean? And so that brings the average back up. But I could say consistently we do about 12, and we can make it work with 12. So,
yeah, you're higher elevation than
I had to do. Yeah.
So you guys get more snow. I drive by you every winter going down to Arizona, so I drive right by you, man. A matter of fact, last year I was like, I think I even made a comment on one of your videos. It's like I should stop in and see you or something like that because we go to Arizona for the winter. So
yeah, right on. And you can.
Oh man, yeah. Well, I got a big old fifth wheel behind me. I'd have to use your whole parking lot. No, I'd love to stop in. And you guys
we don't have space in there. That's why we do the no crew.
Right. Yeah, you guys are much higher in elevation than we are here. So yeah, you would get more snow than, and of course, you're in Utah, so there's quite a bit of snow in your area.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just couldn't make it pencil. We could.
It's busy. They didn't have a pesticide license, and I was, I didn't feel we were going to make enough money to pay everybody with the pest. So that never took off.
Well, unfortunately, the pest spraying is at the same time as you're mowing. It's during the summer. It's not in the winter so much. So that would be tough. And then, of course, your application for your lawns. Well, that's in the summertime too when you're mowing. So yeah, that's why we just chose to specialize. We just mow. That's what we do. We don't spray.
Yeah.
We don't do trees. We don't hardly do any hedges unless you're a mow customer. We just mow. Now, I've always kept in the back of my mind since you started that gardening crew. I'm like, oh man, if I could get something going like that. But you're so reliant on an employee. If they up and leave, what are you going to do with all your gardening customers? They fall back in your lap, and you're already busy mowing. So I'm like, I don't know. But it's always in the back of my mind because I know you talked about it. I don't know, 3 years ago or something, when you're talking about your numbers and weekly and biweekly and monthly services, and because there is a call for that.
Sorry, I was trying to pick up on what you're saying. So yeah, I'm sorry. I know you were saying quite a bit. And I just couldn't hear you.
You're cutting out.
Were you talking about some weekly and every 2-week mows? Like, do I not offer?
No,
should you not offer
your gardening service?
Oh yeah.
When you brought that up initially, it's always been in the back of my mind of something that I wouldn't mind offering because there's a big call for that. And I remember you talking about when you first started about weekly and biweekly and monthly services and kind of breaking down the numbers a little bit on that on one of your old videos. And I don't know if I ever go there because you're so reliant on, again, employees. If they decide to take a job and go someplace else, and all of a sudden your garden customers are just hanging out there, what are you going to do? So
I think there's
tough.
room there for pay for performance with that, which is something if I would have known earlier on about, I think I could have implemented that. But my guys are paid pretty high right now, so the performance pay doesn't really work for that service because legally you're allowed to tell your people that you're only paying them when they're on a property. Let's say do this, it's $25 per budget hour, right? Just throwing out a big number like that. They're going to make like on a 10-hour budget day, they're going to make a day. That's great. But my guys, because they make $24 an hour, 23, some of them $23, $24 an hour, I have to say you're going to be making $30 per budget hour. That's too much. You know what I mean? Because legally, the labor department's going to look at their clock in and clock out, and it's going to be less than their base. So you can't do that. But I think if I were to start over again, I would give them a low base, but give them a very high, ridiculously high budget hour pay. So because those guys can't leave the property fast. Like they have to finish the job or stay whatever 3 hours the ticket says. They can't stay for 2 hours, even if they finished. The customer's not going to be happy with that. So that's where we got kind of caught up with that, with paying them. Because I think if you were to do that, like performance pay for those guys, then you wouldn't need to worry about not having anybody or anybody leaving, because I think they would, like, when people are paid good, they stay.
Yeah.
As long as they're happy, you keep them happy, and they're happy with their job and they're paid good, they're going to stay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, luckily, we haven't had anybody, like, all our guys have been with us for years,
right?
Because they're paid really well. Thankfully, a lot of people around here don't really get the performance pay yet, but I'm sure when they figure it out, they'll be doing that. There'll be more options for workers, but for now, it's going pretty good for me.
Yeah.
Plus, I keep it. I try to have a good work environment too.
Right. My area is much different than your area. You've got large cities locally where I don't. I'm in a rural town, and there is no large cities near me, not within working distance. And so we're a little different, and I have to take a lot of the information that's given out there freely on the internet from you and other people, and try to apply it to my area, just because we're so different here. You could have a website and nobody would look at it here. There's no need, there's no need for a website. So, so I have to see what applies to my area and use that and try to apply it to what I can get out of it here. So I don't know, gardening, there is a call for it sometimes, mostly old ladies that want, weeds picked out of their flower beds, but it's not a bunch. Could I get a full-time employee on it? I don't think I could get an employee full time.
Yeah. Have you ever heard my story of why we ended up doing the garden maintenance weekly or whatever every 2 weeks?
I don't recall it.
Basically, we have this whale of a customer who just beautiful house, right? They have a swimming pool and a full court deck, a full court basketball court in their house. I mean, both of these. That's how big this house is. And the flower in the yard is like all the board. It's 18,000 square feet, but like half of it, even more, like around the whole border of an 18,000 square foot property, it's all flower beds and shrubs and a lot of that kind of stuff. And so, we signed her up for mowing, fertilizing, and we're going to spend $350 a month weeding your flower beds. Okay. Anyway, we did that for probably 5 months. And then finally I got a call from the owner. He's like, you got to come to my property right now. And I'm like, okay. So I went over to his property right now, and he walked the property with me, and he said, this is just a joke. Look at this flower bed over there. It's like full of weeds, it's like, this is just a joke. A high school kid can do this. So I was like, okay, if you don't fire me, I will make this right. I'll do whatever it takes to make this right. Just don't fire me. Because I knew I could use this as like a way to figure out how much it's going to take care of this flower bed, right? So here's what we ended up doing. We were slow at the time too. Obviously, it was a while ago. So we still have the customer, by the way. But I said to Fernando, and basically I said, every day after 4 p.m. or whenever you're done with everything, you're going to track how long it's going to take you to clean this yard. And you're going to do all the flower beds, everything. You're going to make it perfect. So we did that. We tracked it. I knocked on the door and the wife answered, and she came out and gave me a hug. And she was like, this is how we want it. This is perfect. And I was like, okay, this is great. Now I want you to know, if you want us to keep doing this and keep it maintained like this, it's going to cost $1,000 a week. But you can cancel with me right now, and there's no hard feelings. I just wanted to see what it would take. And she was like, yeah, that sounds about right.
$1,000 a week, pull weeds.
$1,000 a week. We've been taking a week now because our guys are just they know that property so good that it comes out to about $770 a week, maybe $800 every once in a while. That's with us going every single week. So once we figured that out, Rachel's brain went to work, and next thing you know, we have like prices out for the size of square footage of how much, realistically, we tell the customers, look, we'll be working on this section 1 week, maybe the back section another week, that kind of thing. But that's kind of how it all started. And Rachel, at the time, when I was like, dude, it's going to be $1,000 a week. I mean, it's either tell them to do it or they don't, or hire somebody else, because we just can't keep up with it. I'm not going to do a walkthrough with the doctor ever again. Either he's going to get rid of us or we're going to do it right. And she was like, nobody's going to do this. She'll even admit that she said that out loud, that nobody would do this. And now look at us. We have 2 full-time crews of 2. We had 3, but we couldn't keep busy, and they're still doing that. But the 2 crews to Friday, and one of those crews works Saturday, busy all day long, doing weekly, every 2 weeks or once a month garden maintenance. And those guys, their average is about 50% over labor is about 50%, but that's after taxes and everything is paid out. And I don't mind 50% labor on stuff like that. I think if my mowing was that high, I'd be a little worried. But for garden maintenance, to leave early, they have to stay on time. I think it's fine for me, and they're paid well. There's no performance pay. It's just that $5 each member per truck per house, so you get about $150 a week bonus. I'm happy with it, but that's kind of how that all works out. And it's like the mowing. It's actually easier than mowing because those guys, they only go to like 3 to 4 properties a day. So there's less wear and tear on the vehicles. They don't ever have to buy gas, hardly ever. A lot of it is just gas, even on the vehicle.
So
it's all
they do all your
labor,
shrub trimming as well?
But sometimes, yep. Weeding, shrub pruning, and if a customer puts mulch, like a pile of mulch or bags, our guys will spread it for them because they have to be there for however long the ticket says. What I think our minimum on weekly is 3 hours, so that's an hour and a half for 2 guys, and that's a long time if there's nothing to do. We basically encourage the customer to buy plants, put them out there. We'll plant them for them. Basically, our guys are yours for an hour and a half or 3 hours. We tell them, and the guys love it. And that's some of the things when I have people do shop tours with me, they want to see what our guys are doing. Take them to some of these properties that are weekly, and they look perfect. And they're like, what are they doing when they're plants that come out of bushes that need to be cut, or raking the bark and the topsoil or whatever makes it look so much better. Yeah, but those are customers that want their yards to look perfect,
Right.
It's not like they know there's not much to do, but that's why they're paying somebody to keep it that way. And my house is one of those customers, so I know exactly how those customers feel. It's like when I come to my back patio, there shouldn't be a leaf. There shouldn't be any leaves back here. They should be blown out. I mean, if you look at here, there's trees all around.
And you build that at 75 a man hour as well, Freddie?
For the garden maintenance, some of those it fluctuates from 65 to 75. Okay. Because some of them are really tiny, so they're actually called tiny GM, garden maintenance. They're so small that they do get a little bit of a discount, because that was one of the things I had to fight with my garden manager about, and she's just like, they're not going to pay the normal price. Look how tiny this is. They're just like one flower bed in the front yard. So, but yeah, they range from 65 to 75, and we send them a form when they sign up. Do you want us to do the minimum, or do you want us to go over if we see fit, or do you want it to be immaculate where there's no time limit? You just go until everything is done perfectly. And those customers that want it immaculate, no limit is what we call them. We'll even, if they've got hoses that are, pulled out, we make sure to roll them up nice. If there's shoes in the back, we make sure to put them by the door. There's patio furniture, we're dusting it. You know what I mean? We just make sure that everything is perfect so those customers don't cancel on us. And I've learned all that because, like I said, my wife is one of those customers, and so she wants that done. And I figure, well, if my wife wants that done, I'm sure other people want it done too. And that's kind of what our philosophy has been. We'll do it. We have a slide here. If it needs to be scrubbed, I would tell our guys, hey, you need to scrub that house that has the slide because it's dirty. And they would do it because it's no limit customer. So those are the things you kind of have to do with the garden maintenance. But we have a form that they fill out when they sign up for that. So we know, and it's on the notes every time the guys look at it and they go, oh, this is no limit. We can stay there however long. Or it's like, we need to ask for permission if it's going to go over the minimum. So it works really good. That is a service that I do consider keeping if we were ever to shut down. That and mowing, it's the big cleanup crew where I'm like, I don't know if we really need cleanup crew, landscaping, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we eliminated all our one-time cleanups. We don't do those anymore, just simply because we don't have time.
Yeah, exactly. But the labor percentage on the cleanup and landscaping division is 15%.
No, there's big money in sometimes cleanups.
Yeah. 25, but it's never as high as the other guys ever. So that's one of the reasons why, sometimes I'll joke around with Rachel and I'll say, I don't think we should do landscaping projects. She's like, but they bring in so much money. But it takes good people, right? They got to know what they're doing with that, laying down flagstone and stuff. So, and even metal edging.
Yeah, we don't do landscaping, but up until this year, we've always did one-time cleanups. People call and their house is a wreck, or they just bought it, or it's way overgrown, or something like that. But we had to cut those out just simply because we don't have time. We're just so busy with our regular mow customers. We had to just eliminate it. But it's good money. It's very good money.
Yeah, if you found somebody that enjoyed it, like my Fernando, he loved going to a yard that was so disgusting. It's like he would love that because he knew that he was going to have a job all day, and whatever comes in today, he'll have for tomorrow. Like, that guy just wanted to work. And so that's what kind of helped us. But if you're going to do maintenance, weekly maintenance, or every 2 weeks, or would do it, but then I don't know at that point if they remember that you're going to do the maintenance for it. So I think it kind of does go hand in hand. If you're going to do the garden maintenance to do cleanups.
Yeah, if we ever did branch out into anything else other than mowing, it would probably be the garden maintenance like you were doing, just simply because there's a lot of call for hedge trimming and weed pulling in flower beds and stuff like that. I think that would be a direction that I would go if we decided to branch out. It's always in the back of my mind. I always think about it. I'm a numbers guy, so I'm always crunching numbers.
Yeah, right on. Well, thanks so much, Randy. No, sorry, Dusty.
I ain't look.
I have a Dusty Randy that I just hired last week, so that was on my mind. But thanks for talking with me today.
Oh yeah, man. No, I appreciate
that.
it. No, I really do appreciate it. Like I said, longtime follower. I've been watching you for, man, since you're Dragon Hose.
Hey, so since I've got you on the phone, what? Because as you know, I'm very inconsistent with videos. I'm sorry. I'm
It's
just
all
saying.
good.
I'm like, I'm more focused on my business.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had that focus with YouTube because I think I could do good in there. But I'm still too driven with my business. But what would you like to see in the channel more of?
Well, like I said before, what I get to glean from what you give is from the business side of things. And that's helped me substantially in our growth and in the future of where we want to get to, just by what you've put down as successes and failures. I've learned a lot from. But, unfortunately, in our industry, I would say the majority of the YouTubers are just young guys.
Yeah.
And they don't look at that side of things. They just want to go mow lawns, And so, I have my YouTube channel. I've had it for 5 years. I've got, I don't know, 600-700 videos on there. I mean, there's times I do daily vlogs, but I don't get that much views because I'm an old guy. Nobody wants to watch the old guy. And so, you know what everybody wants to watch on YouTube right now? Cleanups, free cleanups for old ladies or handicapped, or that's where the money's at. If you want to grow on YouTube, I'm just not there. That's not me. That's not what I do.
Me either.
I just mow. That's what we do. We just mow.
Yep.
That's it. You know what? And it's hard to make it look exciting.
So if I kept, keeping it kind of business style, like what I'm doing to grow the business revenue wise, things like that, is there a way you'd like to see that delivered that I'm not, how would you like to see that delivered?
Well, I think that you've been very open about monies, whereas on my channel, I don't release that information just because my competitors watch me. So, I have to be very careful about how much I mow lawns for and stuff like that. But, and I think, I don't know. For a YouTube channel, I don't know, man. To grow a YouTube channel, I don't know. I know what I've learned from you, but I don't know if that will grow a YouTube channel. So,
I'm not really looking to grow because I've already tried pretty much everything that I would want to try to grow, and it's just like it's not happening. Like you say, people they're more worried about watching mowing that big cleanup than how to grow business. So I've come to that realization already a long time ago, but I still want to present it in a way that's people would like to see, because I never really got any advice ever on how to deliver the message other than hey, the way I've been doing it, which is really like, I know I need to step out of my comfort zone a little bit and put in more work. These lives are really easy for me. I could do those forever, but I know they don't bring any views, like nothing. You know what I mean? Like today, since we've been on, I mean, I don't know, there's 2 people watching, you know what I mean? It's like, so, but I can do this all day, but I know I'm somebody that likes to see like work, like see the accomplishments or the outcome, something good. So I'm just seeing if there's just a different delivery.
It's tough.
Message,
It's tough. Yeah. I've tried different ways to grow my channel, and it's just, I'm not the young guy with the 6-pack abs. That's what it comes down to. I'm just not, and I'm good with that. Yeah. I'm good with that. My followers that I do have that watch every one of my videos, they're faithful and they're awesome, and they all comment. But the fact is I'm just not the young generation that everybody wants to see, and that's fine. I'm, but for me, because I'm a numbers guy, I'm a business guy. The business part of it is what I enjoy more, just because I'm in that stage. I'm in that stage where I'm going to have to get out of the truck and let other people do the work and run the business. And so, that's where we're at. And so that's what I'm looking at right now.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it. I appreciate you letting me coming up and talking to you. It's awesome. And I wish you all
it's great.
luck in the world, and I hope this season all
Same
turns
with you.
around for you. And we're here next year.
It already is.
Good.
It already is, and I'm looking forward to resetting thing. And I think once we make it that year, that's the beauty of this industry, right? It's like you had a bad year, you can make all the changes you want in the summer, in the springtime, and then start again. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's cool about this industry as well. So,
right.
All right, man. Well, thanks for chatting with me, and I'll catch you on the next one.
All right. Take care.